Hey guys, welcome back to the Dumont RA-102 console television restoration project, better known as the Clifton. Alright, when we last left off, we did a first power-up with no rectifier tubes. The tubes lit up, the dial lamps responded to the different modes, AM, FM, TV. Now continuing on, I want to do a power-up of just the AM radio portion. The power supply is a 300 volt and a 400 volt supply. There's three 5U4 rectifiers. Two are in parallel for the 400 volt supply, which is used by the more powerful circuits in the TV, the horizontal, vertical output stages. When you are in radio mode, that is disabled, so we're going to leave those two rectifier tubes out, and we're just going to put in the one that's used for the 300 volt supply. That 400 volt supply is the one that's controlled by the relay. So not only is there a time delay on applying the 400 volt supply to the TV circuits, also when you're in radio mode, it de-energizes the relay. Now, speaking of the relay, so this is the original, the coil is open on it. I did pick up a new old stock replacement off of eBay from a seller that I've bought parts from before. It has a wide variety of parts, and there were some other things that he was selling that I needed. So I went ahead and bought this along with that order to combine shipping. This is the 10K version, though. That's a 5K version. I'm going to pick up a 5K and install it, but I need to wait to the early television convention to get that. Meanwhile, I figured this wasn't all that expensive, and I was curious to see if this would work. Now, I suspect I would need to drop down this 33K resistor that's in series with that coil to make it work properly. But this should put less of a load on the 6AL5 tube. Looks like the mounting holes will match up perfectly. Just a little curious that the original has a spring on the arm here, whereas the new one does not. It's just bent steel. But otherwise, it looks like the connections are pretty much identical. The other reason I want to install this now is I disconnected this, and I got these wires hanging, floating around, which I had to disconnect them when I took this out, and I don't feel like having these flopping around. Alright, so I will also wrap up work, at least for now, with this chassis till I get the other relay. So I'm going to install this, hook up those wires, we're going to flip this back down, and I need to figure out which tube of the rectifiers is for the 300 volt rail. It's got to be this guy, because these two are paralleled up and that one is not. So I'm going to put that tube back in. I think we'll also get to see the 0C3 gaseous regulator tube light up with the installation of this tube. I'll install that one. I got the chassis to flip down. Then I need to rig up a speaker to the main chassis as well. Connected for it way back in the corner there. The audio output transformer is actually right here. But then there are two wires that run that way and then that way and go all the way over to an oddball connector over there. So I'm going to tip this thing on its side and attach some extension leads to it so I can rig up an external speaker, because I can't get at anything from the top side. Alright, new relay has been installed. I also shorted out the safety interlock. There was a button I was having to press in last time when we powered this up. So at least for now, it's been bypassed, so I don't have to push that in. I've got a voltmeter attached to the 300 volt supply, and I popped in a 5U4 rectifier for just the 300 volt supply rail. Alright, so it's turned off. Power is on. RB and AC power is going into the set, and let's turn it on. Excellent. Went up to 450. And that's why I use 475 or 500 volt caps in these applications. And then as the tubes warm up, it drags it down. Now that is the single cap right after the rectifier that it goes through a filter choke, and the cap down here is actually the, no, not that side, this side is the output to the set. So it's to be 300 volts with 308. That is excellent. Our dial lamp's lit up. We're in AM radio mode. Let's see, it's hard to see. Yeah. The 0C3 is a glowing purple. I'll flip this down and show you that in a moment. What I want to see now is, so we're in radio mode, so the relay is not going to be energized. If I go into TV mode, is it going to click on? Now remember, I don't have the rectifiers for the TV supply, so it's not going to power it up, but the relay should click. So here we go. So that's FM mode, now TV mode. It clicked. Now if I go off, it opened up. Click. No click. Now if I turn it off, relay opens. So now if you turn it on, it's set on, after it's cooled down and you're in TV mode, the relay should kick on, but not until a little bit of a delay as the tubes warm up. So let's give that a try now. Here we go. Clicked on after a bit of a delay of a few seconds. Fantastic. And it's off. Now let's hook up a speaker, try out the radio. I clipped in some extension leads to the audio output connector and propped the edge of the chassis up on a little board so I could run the leads out without crushing them. Hooked up a test speaker. Now let's fire it up again. Oh yeah, now you can see the gas rectifier tube as well when I turn it on. Dim the lights. Should be able to see it glowing faintly purple. There it is. Not super bright, but a neat thing. Let's see. Globes, or typically when you see tubes glowing purple on a TV, that's a very bad thing. They go into air, but not in this case. Alright, let me get my tripod situated. Alright, so how about sound? Yes, we have a hum. Set screw. Tighten the set screw on that knob. I'll be able to tune it. Don't have a loop antenna hooked up. Maybe if I get my hand in the general area. Oh, that's a little disappointing. I was hoping to hear something. Wiggle some tubes a little. That could just be a lack of antenna, sure. So let's look at the schematic and see where the antenna hooks up for the AM radio. I can just clip a long lead in somewhere temporarily. Okay, it's a pretty simple AM radio, and it's not a tuned loop. It just comes into this connector, 0.02 microfarad cap through a coil into a variable tuning cap right into a 6BE6 AM converter tube. I tried going down below, and I can get at that gain capacitor. I would think if I attach something here, it would Getting some sort of signal coming in, but nothing. Now, I haven't checked the tubes in the AM radio first, so maybe it's just as simple as that. So I just started popping the shields off. Every small tube in this that has a spring-loaded shield on it, just popped one of them off. Okay, if we wiggle that tube, we get a little crackle. That's good. Send that guy. That. Sounds like we get some reception when I wiggle that tube. Let's see, there's a 6H6. Is that what they use for the detector? No, it's a 6AT6 for the detector. Beat this guy. Oh, nothing if I wiggle that. No, it's got to be these 3 tubes. I'll run that. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Well, all 3 tubes check out okay. The 6BE6, the 6BA6, the CAT6. Put them back in, reached under the chassis and installed a clip lead onto where the antenna connection is supposed to be made. Maybe that'll make a difference. Let's give this another plug the power supply into the main chassis, and we will give this another whirl. It's as simple an AM radio as you can get. So, we still have the dreaded micas in there. We have the IF cans, which I do not have any embedded micas. They're all ceramic trimmers accessible at the top. Might be out of alignment. Don't know. And yeah, we got nothing. We got nothing. Wheel. Main drag with this thing, with the chassis being so large, it's a little awkward to troubleshoot, do signal injection, but I'll have to rearrange things, tip this on its side that way so we can get at the bottom of this and start doing some signal injection. Start by feeding an audio signal into the audio amp and work our way back. Actually, I think I had checked the 6V6, but we can check that again. Oh! Really? Okay, maybe it's that simple. I was assuming the power switch was also the volume control. It is not. It is the tone control. And I was saying in an earlier segment, I don't know what these controls are, because they're wood knobs and the printing is worn off of most of them, and it's not in the service info. So maybe I just didn't turn the volume up. So which one is the volume? It should be a shielded one, which looks like this guy. Ooh. Well, it's turned up a bit already. I'll certainly go higher. Grab that antenna again. Haha. Sounds terrible. It shouldn't be warbulating like that. Alright, let's rig up a longer antenna. That's an easy thing we can do. So the one in the cabinet, I'm guesstimating, is around 12 feet long. And coiled up, wraps around inside the cabinet. So this will give me 6-8 feet or so. Oh, connect it up here. Oh yeah, turn off my shop light. That's better. Tell you, they could use more vernier drive on this. It's almost a direct drive from the knob into the tuner. You got to be pretty careful. Ooh, I'm gonna have to zoom in closer. I almost forgot there's a signal strength meter built into this thing too. It's not doing much, but it does move a little bit. Come on, like WGN should be booming. I think the tuning dial numbers are way off. 780, 720 should be going in strong. I'm not finding anything in that area. Let me get in closer so you guys can maybe see that tuning indicator.
Well, I mean, just all week we've been saying I can't imagine what Dr. Redletter thinks about this. I mean, it makes sense saying...
It's a little hard to see.
I mean, how's that going to go on a submarine? I mean, it's just insane.
But there is a vertical line back here. I actually wonder if this dial lamp isn't adjusted quite right. This too just goes through a hole in the top of it, so it's illuminating the numbers, but it's really hard to see the meter behind there. Do a little augmented light. So see, there's a vertical line back there. It's just barely moving over to the left a little bit. There, I think you can see it now. Unless my eyes are deceiving me.
Works directly with ethical factories, cuts out the
Well, maybe it's not moving. It's supposed to be moving. Huh. So reviewing the schematic, and I think I've been operating under a bad assumption. Here's a tuning meter, and it's on the sound discriminator. You can see the different modes. It's a television, FM. When you're an AM, I think that tuning meter, even though it's part of the AM tuning dial, is the signal strength indicator for the TV and the FM, not AM. I think I got it now. Zoom in on that tuning dial again. So we're in AM radio mode. When I go to FM mode, or TV mode, there is a second bulb back there, but it's really dim and hard to see. Now it's illuminating that signal strength meter. So AM radio, FM radio. Now it's illuminating that pointer back there. It hadn't occurred to me that, oh yeah, the FM radio should work. Because we don't need TV sweep circuits for that. So I'm going around the tuning dial. Don't have an antenna hookup though. Let me see if I can rig up an FM antenna quickly. Okay, I just clipped some alligator leads on to where the TV FM antenna comes in on the back. Now we're working with, well, that dial for tuning, this dial for strength. So I'm getting crackles, but I'm realizing We're in the TV mode. For when you're in the FM band, you're in this green section, so let's keep going. Haha. Oh yeah, and the tuning meter's doing something. Alright. Excellent. So you watch that while I tune. Swings over to the right.
And the westbound exit ramp to southbound Ripley. An I-80, the eastbound exit ramp to... This selection by Ryan Poles in this huge...
Well, what value does that have? I don't really know, but it's neat.
Sports Radio 104.3 The Scoop.
So does this tone do anything? That's volume. There's tone. Yep, tone controller.
Today's variety. You guys have a good mix of music. 101.9 The Mix.
1.9. No, the tuning dials are way off. So that'd be 97.1. Yeah, this tuning dial's off a bit. Seems odd that it's kind of crackly since it's roller inductors, but maybe I didn't clean them as well as I need to. Give myself a copyright violation. That's with the volume all the way up, so it's definitely not as loud as it should be. Now the audio output stage is common to both, so that maybe accounts for the AM being weak as well, because it should come booming in, I would think. I mean, these are strong local stations. I know I don't have much of an antenna, but for FM especially, I shouldn't need all that much of an antenna. So, we got some troubleshooting to do, and it seems like both tuning dials are off a bit. The AM especially, so... man, I'm not even sure how you align the tuning part of it, because it's so encased by the support structure. Like if the dial tracking was off, I mean, geez. Are there little trimmers? So it looks like the trimmers for the tuning cap are on the bottom. Yeah, the AM radio working is not the most important thing, of course. It's television, but it'd be nice to get it working at least a little bit better. So, I'm going to call it a night. We'll pick up with doing a little bit of troubleshooting on the sound circuit. A Antique Radio Forum member has secured a couple 807s, and the test good, and he sent them my way. And... yeah, maybe you'll pick up some more odds and ends and some more tubes at the convention next week. Then we can do a full television power-up as well. That's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching.